You have Jim in the picture?
Yep.
Hey, Jim.
Hello.
Hey, how are ya?
Good. How you doing, Winter?
I'm good. Jim is a phenomenal meditator. He goes, woof.
Oh,
Ooh. Hey, hey, Jim. How are you?
good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, buddy.
How are you doing?
Doing
Thanks.
well, thank you.
Good.
I'm just going to monitor.
I don't see it listed as live yet.
People are starting to file in. Hi, Dave from Scotland. It's late for you, but thanks for joining us. Hi, Lana. Hi, Dave from Scotland. It's late for you. Gotta turn my volume down. Hi, Lisa. Hey, Kim. Don't forget, guys, if you want to join us in the Zoom room, right below the live on my page is the flyer with the Zoom room ID. Oh, Doreen, I just saw you on Facebook the other day, your little advertisement. Hello. I was like, I haven't seen you in ages. Thanks for coming. You were trying the Zoom. Oh, wait, we got somebody in the Zoom. Hold on. Hey, Terry. All right. We got another minute or two as people are strolling in. Let me just see if I can. We're going to start in a couple of seconds. I'm just going to jot down the Zoom room info in case anyone asks. Hi, Terry. 43993 Bliss. Okay, because I can't remember anything. And then we go back to here. All right, so as everyone is joining us this evening, here she is. There's Doreen coming in. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Still getting used to the Mac mouse. Okay. Used to the Mac mouse.
How are you? So long.
Good, sweetheart. I know it has been. Now wait, somebody has
How are you?
volume on.
So long.
Good, sweetheart. I know it has been. Now wait, somebody has. Okay, I'm just gonna mute people because we're getting. Oh, not Steve. There. Okay. Cool. And during the presentation, if you have a question, you can always just raise your hand and Steve will take them. So on that note, it's 7 o'clock, and people will stroll in as they stroll in. This is being recorded, so if anybody is unable to stay the whole time, you can find the recording on my YouTube page, Winterbrook Psychic Medium on YouTube. Also, it will be recorded on my guest Steve Interrante's Facebook page, as well as my Facebook page. And you know what? Forgive me, folks. Child forgot something. Here we go. Doom da doom da doo da doo. Okay. And she was supposed to do something. It's finals week, so my darling daughter is taking a final, as we're doing this. And she forgot to share it to the personal, the group page, which I just did now. So welcome everybody. It's, oh my God, it's May 19th. What happened to the month of May? In less than a month, actually it'll be a month from today, my little baby kitten will be a year old. But kids are getting out of school. And for those of you with the younger set, I am out of that arena. The summertime can be kind of daunting unless the kids are going to camp full time, right? When who can afford that these days? So things slow down, but they also get a little stressful. And talking about stressful, we've got current events. Current events stress us out. We got a war with Russia. We've got baby formula shortages. We have more COVID, and we've got monkey virus. We've got whatever the newspapers can come up with, right? Just to stress us out. So what do we do with all of this? Well, one answer, which we're going to talk about tonight with our esteemed guest and a good friend of mine, Steve Interrante, who does this professionally. He facilitates mindfulness behavior, meditation. He speaks not only at local libraries leading meditations, but I was tickled to find out he was working with Satram School District and he taught mindfulness to, was it sixth graders?
Yes.
Sixth graders for several days last month or this month. And this is something I have gotten on a soapbox about and promoted. I was working with Northport Village, promoting learning meditation for the residents and also for the kids, because I feel sometimes it's better to work with the kids separately than the adults because kids have a shorter attention span. So, and they just feel more, you know, unless you have just like one kid who's used to it, like my kid was used to it. Dakota loved meditation when she was little. And man, oh man, did she behave better when she had her Shavasana meditation down at my office. The next day she'd get up, go to school, no arguments, got dressed. So it was wonderful for me as her mom. But Steve, I want to hand it over to you a little bit, and I'd like to kind of ask you to explain to everyone, because possibly there's some people out there that have heard of the term mindfulness, but don't know exactly what that means.
It has many meanings. And the word mindfulness and the concept of mindfulness is becoming much more in vogue now more than ever. There are school districts far and wide now starting to recognize the benefits of mindfulness and teaching children mindfulness at early ages before they get tainted by the stresses and the circumstances that we have as adults. So there are many teachers of mindfulness on the planet. Two of my favorites are Thich Nhat Hanh and Eckhart Tolle, and they articulate. Unfortunately, Thich Nhat Hanh just passed recently over the last few months, and it's very sad. But his teachings are so on point. In general, mindfulness is such an amazing concept, and it's a way of living. It's literally a lifestyle, choosing to be mindful. And what does that mean? Being mindful is awareness. Awareness always comes first. So when you choose to be aware on purpose, and you learn how to be aware on purpose, and it's a choice because we have free will. We get to do whatever we want. When you choose to be aware, you're actually focusing on what you're thinking, how you're feeling, what's happening inside of you, and what's happening outside of you simultaneously. It's a very powerful place to be. It's a state of consciousness. Everything is a state of consciousness. There are many different levels of consciousness. All of us sitting here right now are in a level of consciousness. You don't feel your heart beating right now. You're not focused on your breath. You hear my voice. You're sitting down. You're relaxed, having dinner or whatever you're doing. And here we are. It's a state of consciousness. when we begin to focus more in the now moment on purpose, we get to explore all the things that are occurring. So let's start with the kids first. Yes, I feel very, very fortunate to have worked with groups of children on Long Island and beyond. This past year, I was asked to come into Sachem School District in their sixth grade, one of their sixth grades with 300 kids. So we started in December and we did 7 classes. And then the kids took 2 months off and they came back again in February. And then they came back again in this past May. So I had an opportunity over a 6-month period to start introduce concepts. And within those concepts of mindfulness were kindness, empathy, self-confidence, gratitude. So right from the onset, it's very recognizable that these poor kids with COVID over the last couple of years, put your mask on, take your mask off, go to school. Now you can't go, but somebody in the class got infected, and they were just really, really thrown for a loop in the educational process, and their whole consistency of day to day, which is very important for them, was compromised. So put the kids, many of them, in a very challenging situation. So through mindfulness, we were able to show them, and I'm just so blessed to have experienced how they progressed over a 6-month period in learning how to drop in. So what I would do, just as an example, we taught them how to drop into the present moment, how to be in the now. What is the now? Now is focusing on what's happening. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's happening inside my inside world and my outside world? And I would literally say, okay, kids, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Bam. Drop into the present moment. Close your eyes, feel your body. Feel the breath enter through the nostrils, down the larynx into your chest and abdomen. Feel the aliveness in your body. Feel how your body feels as it's sitting. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to analyze it. Just focus on sensations. So replace thoughts with vibrations and sensations and sound frequencies. And I started to get it. In the beginning stages were a little fidgety because, yes, they're hard to pay attention, but they really understood. And then when we were in that state, I would describe to them what they could potentially feel. Because it's all about feeling. We're replacing analytical thoughts with feeling. Feel a state of ease. Feel the stillness within you. Feel the calm within you. Notice how the breath flows through and exits. Notice how that feels, how that feels, how that feels. And they would replace the anxiousness, perhaps, even if it was for short periods of time, with a state of ease.
That's very interesting. Now, I know that you're sensitive to energy. You're an energy worker in addition to teaching mindfulness and meditation. How were you able to feel the energy in the room become more cohesive, almost like a shift in vibration or color, like from scattered all over to like almost like a golden hue when the
Yes.
kids sat in?
Most definitely. And it was actually kind of exciting. So some of the administrators and teachers that were involved in this program they were there, they were present. And during the course of the 43-minute class, it went from class to class, class, class. During that 43 minutes, I would do 3 separate drop-ins or check-ins, I would call them. Check in, check in, check in. You don't need to think about it. You don't need to analyze. Check in on how you feel. Feel the breath, feel the stillness, feel the ease, feel the ease. By the time the second and third one showed up in this, all these kids were visibly extremely relaxed and extremely out. In other words, they weren't fidgety. They weren't moving. You could tell that they were focused. You could tell that they were locked in. And in these moments that I suggest to them, because they're in a really deep conscious state as being the observer, and I showed them what being the observer means of actually watching yourself. Be the observer of you. What is it? How do you feel? What are you thinking? what's going on, feel a state of calm, calm, calm. And then we got into actually creating. And I mentioned to them that, in 6 years, you are going to be the graduating class of Sachem High School, the largest school district on Long Island. And you can co-create the type of life that you want, but with your intentions and your will and your thoughts. So what would it look like when you're 18? What would you look like? What would it feel like to be more confident, self-confident? What would it look like to have a plan, to be more focused, to be grateful of who you are? What would you like to do? What kind of career? Visualize it, visualize it, visualize it. So we use present moment awareness, ease, consciousness, and then use it to create at a higher state of consciousness. So as the observer, that many of them were able to see themselves and feel themselves and project the kind of life that they would like to have amidst all the issues that they're having. And this just doesn't go for sixth graders. This goes for all of us.
Oh, absolutely. But I agree with you. These tools should be brought to the younger children because, as I experienced, Dakota was kind of, a high-strung kid. But I was lucky that she liked to go to meditations. Well, one particular teacher, he used to do Nidra, or Nidra meditation, which is the Vipassana. Forgive me for just totally mutilating that word. But anyway, and what I would find is she would do the class, and then the next day in the morning there was no difficulty. She was up bright as, we would come home 8:30 instead of her being in bed, but she'd go right to bed. She'd slept through the night, which she always had trouble with sleeping. She would get up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, put her clothes on, no problems, get on the bus. Everything was just easy.
Yeah.
And I did some research, and I saw that this is not so much the mindfulness, but the meditation, which is kind of quieting the mind and getting within yourself. And it's a tool. It's a tool to help them with the stress. And you don't just get the stress when you're a grown up. These kids flip out with SATs, with who's the popular kid. That can cause a lot. I think that's coming to light now.
Absolutely.
So I'm so excited to hear that some of these school districts and the villages are opening up to work with someone like yourself. I had approached the Drug and Alcohol Task Force. I said, that's great to preach. Don't take drugs, don't take alcohol, which I don't, and I don't like them. But what do you give the kids as an alternative to combat stress? How about teaching them something? So now on that, because I don't want this all to be about kids, although we could talk all night about that.
Sure.
But what's the difference between mindfulness and meditation? Is there a difference, or is it just an offshoot?
Great question.
A 3,000 volume page book, just concise it to about 2 minutes, please.
Yes, it's a great question. There are tremendous similarities, but there's a distinction for me in understanding the two. Meditation is a tool, a technique for us to raise our level of awareness to where we become the observer. And in that state, which is an elevated state of consciousness, we can actually visualize, sense all of our physical body senses. So the way I like to help people with is when we drop in, it's literally dropping in. You're going from thinking to here, so you're really not going too far. But once we enter into the heart center in that space, there is a connection to our divine self, our soul. So in essence, we're two separate beings. We're a human being that thinks and does and experiences density and form and choices and things, stories, circumstances. And we're a soul. So it's like the duality and the balance. So during meditation, and it's very difficult, and I'm sure that Jim and Terry and yourself and and many other people who are, accomplished meditators sometimes find it a little bit difficult or more timely to get into that state of consciousness and awareness because our own stuff, my own thoughts, my own
My
stories
monkey
are
mind.
still playing the monkey mind. Exactly. Are still playing. I like to call it the hamster wheel. It's like we wake up in the morning, literally wake up in the morning, you jump right into the wheel and you're on your to-do list and your task. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this, round and around and around, thinking, doing, thinking, doing, thinking, doing. And unless you take on purpose a break and jump off the wheel to check in and rebalance yourself, I like to call it a state of neutrality. You'll be on that wheel all day. So then we become challenged with all of our outside circumstances, our personal situations, and our overthinking. So when we drop into meditation, we're just harnessing our capacity to continue to remind ourselves who we truly are, our light body, our soul body, our spirit body, our energetic body. So we bring ourselves into this state, which is above thinking. Awareness is infinitely more powerful than thinking. So when we gift ourselves in deep meditation, that ability to align with that truth and authenticity that we are, and some people can do it much more readily than others, but it's a very healing experience. It's very transformative. And somebody like yourself who is highly intuitive, a clear channel, it's for those of us that are not as intuitive, when we do enter into that state of a higher consciousness and meditation, we do have a much clearer channel than we would in this state right now that we're talking to each other. So meditation can be extremely helpful, but I would like to say that meditation is simply a technique to remind yourself who you are. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. So I feel the most important thing is we came here in this planet, in this lifetime, to be human. We purposely chose, as a past life regression, as I've had many experiences of people and purpose, and studying people like Dolores Cannon and so on and so forth. We've had many lives, and we came into this life to be human and have these experiences. So mindfulness comes into play, where you can spell check yourself moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. And the more you meditate, the more better you get at recognizing this. It's like the teeter-totter. The 0 point, the neutrality point is right there. It's perfect. There's no attachment. There are no emotions. You're just the observer of everything. That's a very powerful way to exist. I like to call it being a conscious human being and choosing to live a conscious lifestyle.
Interesting.
Mhm.
It's so I forgot the word again. It's exciting to learn that we can expand ourselves and develop into being the observer, almost like having a dual existence. Because, when we grow up, we're not aware of these potentials that we have
Right.
to be more than the flesh.
Right.
So learning about mindfulness and meditation expands our understandings of who we are. And that would, of course, be the cat saying hello.
Right.
But let's talk about meditation a little bit. As far as using that, I mean, the mindfulness is almost like a script. Like you have, I don't want to use the word script, but you have a list of more appropriate behaviors to exemplify the kindness, the gratefulness. So I guess it's like a not a script, but a guidepost. Is that a good way
Okay.
to?
That's fair enough. Guideposts, I like.
Because as humans in the human capacity versus our higher selves, sometimes we need to have the guideposts or the path before us.
Right.
Now, meditation is a tool. But what are some of the benefits? Because I used to get out more, and I would, even though I was going to teach mediumship, I'd always talk about the benefits of meditation. But what if we could just let out a list here? You know, there's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual
Right.
benefits to incorporating a regular meditation practice.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean you have to do it 6 hours a day. It doesn't
Right.
mean you have to sit Indian style holding mudra.
Right.
Um, it does mean that you you make it an important task,
Hmm.
you know, and maybe more important than watching reality TV. But because let's face it, you could be watching reality you. What are some of the benefits that people can look forward to if they were to incorporate a regular meditation practice? Not
Well,
just one time, but
no,
maybe
right.
twice
It's
a week, every week.
right because it is a practice and it takes practice.
Hmm.
Thank you for asking that question. And it is, and you broke it down very perfectly. There's our physical body, our emotional body, our mental body, our spiritual body, energetic body. So let's start with the physical. Um, there are so many amazing benefits physically to your body, to yourself, should you choose to bring meditation into your life. When you commit, because we have free will and choose, if you can isolate a certain amount of time to just be alone and quiet your mind and enter into that state of stillness, it's like your body begins to heal itself already. When you focus in meditation on this flow, the flow of life, this life force energy of air, and that's why we talk about breathing. It's so important. It's the breath of life. With the moment we were born, we started breathing, and we'll breathe until it's our we're being asked to leave and transition. So breath is one of our most vital life sources. So we use it as an awareness. So we find that flow. All of a sudden, your body starts relaxing. You're literally releasing tension, stress, anxiousness, which cause anxiety. So you find your muscle groups relaxing. You find your heart rate slowing down. You're finding that all your vital systems, your circulatory system, respiratory system, digestive system, nervous system, are all settling in and relaxing. So, and with each out breath, it's as if you're literally releasing thin layers of toxins, anxiousness, which have been stored in your body due to all of your life stuff, your challenges, your experiences, and overwhelm. So that's why we have neck stiffness in our neck and shoulders. We clench our fingers, we clench our teeth. All of a sudden, the body is like this. So in meditation, you allow yourself to relax and let go and let go and let go and let go. And it's a practice. It takes practice. And when you commit to it, you build up momentum and it becomes more relaxing. There are people that begin their day before they jump into their hamster wheel of I got to do this, that, this, that, this, that, to take a few moments to feel their body and just feel the relaxation, to set the standard of awareness of that calm, the inner calm. And it's very, very helpful, beneficial. So blood pressure, heart, lungs, digestive system, everything is positively impacted by you committing and gifting, I'll say, yourself a regular meditation practice. The emotional and the mental
Before
are,
we leave the physical,
oh, sure.
um, one thing I've read is that, part of life in 2022 is that most of us seem to be living flight or
Fight or
fight.
flight. Fight or flight.
Um,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, and that results in our physical body secreting certain hormones.
Mhm.
Now, when we get into a relaxed state, our body secretes different chemicals or different hormones that are more
Mhm.
conducive to relaxing. So, ladies, the end result of that is if you could slow down those fight and flight hormones,
Mhm.
which cause premature aging, you can
Mhm.
slow down wrinkles
Yes.
without getting a face job. Of
I love
course.
that. I love that.
You know, there's so
I've
many.
actually heard saying that
We spend a
meditate.
lot of money for creams and stuff,
Oh,
and I don't
oh,
mean
I'm
to make
sure.
light. I'm not making light of the benefit of
Right.
it, but it's a silly way to think about it. But the thing is, our bodies are physical machines, and it
Yeah.
secretes different chemicals
Mm.
depending on our emotional state or our physical, or so change. We can like will it to change, to alter that,
Yeah. I love that word.
and
You can
then
feel it.
have different, look different.
The results are measurable and demonstrative. Literally, some people say meditation changes it reverses the aging process. Your body actually begins to heal itself and cleanse itself and release toxins that are stored, and it's more efficient, and everything just benefits it. It's tremendous, and I'm glad you brought that up. There are
Um,
people. Yeah,
Also
go ahead.
physically, they have done X-rays of minds or CAT scans. I don't know the proper. I'm not a doctor. It's my
Mhm.
daughter. I can say that now. But the gray matter,
Mhm.
right? That all of us here in the Zoom room would be concerned about at our age. Probably not our kids are too worried about their gray
Mhm.
matter, but that starts to shrink with age. And they've shown that a regular meditation practice helps expand or retain gray matter in
Yeah.
your brain. So there's your, gift of youth, extension of youth.
Yeah, there are studies. Anderson Cooper did a study with a very renowned neurologist, and I can't remember his name, but I believe he works for the Math Institute. They did some studies, and they studied the brain. So they put all these electrodes over there. What happens when you start thinking about things that are stressful? And the measurement showed red lines going off the charts, how the body was just anxious, anxious, anxious when you thought about things that brought you stress. Then he said, okay, now let's drop into meditation. Just relax, just relax. Immediately, those neurons that were fired up in the brain started relaxing, and then blue lines appeared, which were indicators of much more relaxation. So the operative word is will and intention. So when you have a positive lifestyle on purpose, and you are accepting that, okay, you know what, this crazy world that we're in right now kind of sucks, and it's all over the place, and I've got this and that and this and that, and I have to worry about all these people all over the world. But you keep a sense of self and love in your heart center, you can literally change things with your will and your intention. So that's one of the huge benefits of meditation and mindfulness, is because you can co-create your own reality by changing the narrative in your mind and willing it and feeling it and practicing it and connecting with this literal your authenticity. It changes everything, and it's really an amazing way to live. And many people are now starting to understand this and get activated with this, and it's very exciting.
It is, and I have to apologize. I did cut you off before, but you're about to talk about some of the emotional benefits to meditation.
Yeah. Mhm. This I feel is huge. Key is we are human beings. We're filled with emotions. Right now, I think everyone can admit that we're in a state of uncertainty. We really don't know what's going on with this world, what's going to happen in the near future. How is it going to impact me, my kids, my grandkids, my money, my health? Worry, 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 worry. What if, what if, what if, what if, what if? Um, Worrying is imagining things going wrong that haven't happened yet. And we've all become professional worriers. You know, if you're a parent, you have kids and you have grandkids, you know how to worry. And then when the older we get, we're worried about our health and money and all these things too. Um,
And our
so
kids, we never stop worrying about our kids.
exactly, if they go on travel excursions and things like that. So,
Yes. When they travel and they're female by themselves
yeah.
down to third world
So
countries. Yes.
exactly. So this is where all our tools come into play, our little treasure chest of tools, of trust, of acceptance. Acceptance to me needs to be one of the biggest go-to tools, because I'm sure we'd all agree that peace of mind would be a wonderful way to live. Waking up every morning, just having peace of mind. Okay, it's okay. Everything's good. Everything's going to play out. It always seems to work out. I don't need to worry. It'll work out. And just let things roll over our shoulders instead of stick to us and begin to fester because we're in our head and we're worrying too much. Those trigger emotions: fear, doubt, uncertainty, shame, guilt, judgment, all of it. And it weighs very heavy, and they're all very heavy and very tense emotions. So when you practice mindfulness and meditation and you're in the now moment, you can actually watch yourself. So you're the observer going, uh-oh, there's Steve going again. He's worrying about this, or he's worrying about, there he goes again. He's worrying about, there he goes again. And you're literally spell checking yourself so that you can, because we have free will, choose on purpose to change the narrative in your mind to become more centered and let yourself know, all right, you know what? Everything seems to work out. I'm okay. And you know what? It must be, everything is happening for me, not to me. That's a big one. Your ego wants you to think it's happening to me. So poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me. Victim, 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 victim. We all fall into that. Happening for me is that everything outside of us is a lesson. So if somebody argues with you, if a situation occurs, you get it. We have a choice. You have free will. You can drive to the end of the street. You can make a left or make a right. Your choice. If something is weighing on you, you get to choose how long it stays there. You want to stay for 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. That's your choice. You have free will. If you want to continue to suffer, it's your choice. You can get
Okay.
out of suffering by practicing trust, acceptance.
But so let me ask you this.
Mhm.
It's not always, oh, hello, baby. It's not always as easy, though, as the way you're explaining it. When you
Sure.
explain it, it's like, oh, great, I can like start that tomorrow. And granted, set the intention, things will improve, but you're still going to have monkey mind, or we're going to be a worry wart.
Mhm.
And my question to you, Steve, is I'm sure some of the people here are listening or will be listening. What are some hints? How can, there are people that are perpetual worriers, or they have anxiety.
Mhm.
Okay? So what would be some helpful pragmatic hints or tools to help them get into the mindfulness,
Okay,
you know?
go-to mechanisms, I like to call them.
Thank you. Excellent.
Go-to mechanisms, right? Okay. And you're absolutely right, Winter. This is not, oh, just be positive and life will be great. Oh, tell that to mom who just lost her kid to a heroin overdose. Oh, it's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. No, no, no. A lot of these things are very deeply rooted. And for those of you who study this or are aware of this, some of these things are karmic. Your relationships with your family members are karmic. We travel in soul groups. We've been here many, many lifetimes. So your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, your kids, your grandkids all belong to a soul group. And those are our biggest challenges and our biggest tests. I mean, it's easy to skirt somebody on the street who, says something to you. You could just, or whatever, and walk away. Or somebody cuts you off on the street and it pisses you off, you just blow it off. But it's the life lessons that we have with our family members and close friends that are really hard and challenging. And there are reasons why they exist. So what I find in my private practice and helping people as a therapist and a counselor is to build an acceptance that, as difficult it is to and to see and feel and accept everything that's happening to you, even the hardest things, are there to show you more about your soul's journey. And that's part of it. So the mechanisms I try to help people with and recommend are at the moments you start to feel overwhelmed and fear and being boxed in. These are the things that cause people anxiety and stress, and they wind up taking meds. And addictions begin, is to try your best to be in acceptance and tell yourself to get into the state of ease. So that means the teeter-totter has tipped, boop, and you're stuck, and it's fear, and it's heavy, and it's dense, and it feels, and it's hard to get away from it. But when you allow yourself to be in the state of ease, breathing, letting go, and raise your vibration, change the channel of your frequency on purpose, it allows to, let's just say, dissolve. It allows to rebalance, realign yourself, and it makes it a little easier for you to tackle some of these real challenges. So I use the word ease a lot. You know, when I go to the grocery store, I just get out of my car, I go ease, and if I just la 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 la. I want to be the observer of the moment, and just watch people, feel. I don't need to be in my head all the time. It's a state of ease where you just have this calm. So yeah, I've got problems. I just had a quadruple bypass last year. I could have been gone, you know, and I'm dealing with respiratory issues and as being a sax player, and, you know, but I tried putting myself in the state of ease and acceptance that it's okay, Steve, just keep going, pal. Just keep going, life will work itself out, instead of worrying about what could happen, what if. Mhm. Take care, Jim. Good seeing you.
Thanks for coming, Jim.
So yeah, ease, breath work, change the narrative in your mind, and also gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude's a big one. And I often find that's like the old saying. There's for every cloud, storm cloud, there's a silver lining. And just try to find, there could be some awful things happening, but try to find something you're grateful for.
Yep.
It makes it, that much less difficult. And I'll just
Yes.
use where I want to use less difficult. I don't want to
Mhm.
say less challenging, because certain losses can be extremely challenging and
Extremely.
devastating.
Yes.
But if you have, at least you can look at some other things, like let's say a divorce, that could be so difficult.
Mhm.
But the loss of the marriage, but then you look around and you have friends rallying around you, offering
Mhm.
support.
Sure.
You have your children, which if you'd never gotten married, maybe you wouldn't have had these children.
Mhm.
You have any pets, you're grateful for them. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden, if you focus on that,
Mhm.
pain, I mean, it's still there, but it's not as debilitating,
Right. Right.
you know? Um, yeah, there's certain, as I said, there's certain losses that are just, take time in order for them to, they don't go away, but they evolve.
Yes. That's so wonderful. And if I may share with you, I belong to and assist a group called Look Up for Adam Foundation, which are mommies and daddies who lost their kids to heroin overdoses.
Mm.
The foundation began with 3 people, and now it's in the hundreds all across the country. These are all parents who lost their kids. Um, and the grief that they have, the guilt that they live with, having people in the neighborhood saying, oh, they weren't good parents because their kid became a drug addict or whatever, these sort of things. And that whole lifestyle, it's like they wrap themselves in a little ball in bed and they don't even get out. They don't even want to go out. So what we do is in this organization, we make them feel comfortable and loved because they all share the same, similar, at least, situations and deeply rooted challenges. I can't think of anything worse than losing your own child. And so what we teach them is love and gratitude. And as they go through this program, Winter, they're able to smile again. Oh, look at the pup, kitty,
Here's the
kitty,
other
kitty.
one.
Oh, I love that one. They've learned to smile again. We teach them that their kids, their children, they're not gone. They're right next to you. They're in their non-physical self. They don't have a body, but their spirit is right there. And we've gotten to the point to where they really, really begin to connect with that. And
Absolutely. Well, that's what I do as a medium. That's what I
yeah,
choose to do, as opposed to practice law. I love law, but once I realized I could connect with the other side, and I saw
mhm,
how it was a totally new experience to lose someone, then
yeah,
without being able to connect with them and not
yeah,
knowing. That's why I wanted to dedicate my professional life to doing this and sharing
mhm,
the gift with others. And I also find that, when I teach mediumship, a lot of the people that come in are people that have lost. And just pre COVID, we had a class, and one of the students was a mother who lost a son. And he was very outgoing from the other side. I mean, he just pops in everywhere. So first thing I did is I made him the teaching assistant, and I used to send him home with a different student every week. And he went home one week with a student that was a professional artist. She was a singer and songwriter. And she got home, and all of a sudden he kind of put her in a bit of a trance, and she composed. Now she's not leaving my office till 9:30 at night, so by the time she got home it was like 10:30, and she starts composing this beautiful song. And then the lyrics came, and it was all about that he was standing right next to her. It was,
oh,
for his mom,
oh,
but the song just struck chords with everyone. And I mean, she got this beautiful song. She ended up recording it. And it just goes to show that, yes, they still exist
mhm,
and they're still functioning.
mhm,
A lot of the messages I get, particularly for parents, after we get the initial evidence out of the way and we're feeling comfortable, is they talk about what they're doing in spirit. They're
mm,
not just sitting on a cloud. Whether they're studying, they're visiting so and so.
mhm,
Yes, that was me twinkling the lights.
mm,
This is what I'm learning now.
yeah,
Now I've made friends. I have friends. I work with other souls that transitioned in the same way. Or I
mhm,
met so and so because you went to that group with Steve Interrante and you met that lady who's now your new friend. Well, I met her daughter who also transitioned
ooh,
from a heroin overdose. Because,
mhm,
your mom's hanging out with my mom right now. I'll tell you
mhm,
right now. They would get along fabulously, and they've met since you and I interact, and our moms are
mhm,
here. So the same thing I'm finding with my messages, they're shifting a bit because I think parents are learning more and more since there's more out there for them to avail themselves
yeah,
of the continuity of life,
right,
that now they wonder, what is my kid doing?
mm,
And they're coming through, and they're more positive, and it gives, I think, the parents more hope. Well, at least I
yes,
hope
more
so.
hope, right, faith.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I knew we were going to shift into message work.
Oh, I'm so happy we did. Yes. And that's great. It really is
So,
important.
um, hi, cutie. I see you just signed on, sweetheart, and I'm getting a nudge from Spirit. I'm going to go do a couple of quick messages so Steve can rest his voice for a little bit. Um, so I see you're watching on Facebook, and I'm having a grandmother step in. And I feel like this lady was on the shorter side. She had a few extra pounds on her. She smacks my hand for mentioning her weight. I feel that she was extremely set in her ways. Like she had a way, a style or a way of doing things. You ate dinner at the same time every night. You did this on a Saturday. You didn't talk back. She was, I wouldn't say it was old fashioned, but she just, you could set your clock to what grandma was doing. Very loving woman, always offering um, um, a hug or a cup of tea to tell your problems to. I feel like she had a very close connection with you in particular. All right. And I do feel that you ask for her to watch over you and that you've been having a particularly difficult time. Now, I hope you're still with us, cutie. And she just wanted to come through to validate that. Yes, 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 I hear you, sweetheart. I hear you. Keep talking. Half the problem is getting you to release what's bothering you. You're holding on to it, and that's what's kind of bringing you further down. You need to have an avenue to express yourself. So I don't know if you have a girlfriend you can talk to. You can always talk to your grandmother. She hears you, but you worry that she may not be, you're not receiving the answers because sometimes you're a little bit upset. So she just wants you to know if you call out for her in your mind, she does come. Um, and she is praying the rosaries. I'm seeing like rosary beads. So she's praying the rosary for you and the little one and the little one. She wants me to make sure you know that. So I'm going to leave that with you and know grandma's with you. And then I'll move to Terry because I know Terry, you want to hear. I got your father who's going to, I think your mom was going to come in, but actually your dad's coming in.
Yeah.
And he was a kind of a large man. I want to say he was 5'10" to 6 foot. Would that
Yeah.
be about? And he was solid. He was a solid man.
Hmm.
All right, and loved your mother's cooking. He's saying he loved to eat. That was one of his favorite times of the day. He really enjoyed eating. Um, Not his own cooking, your mother's cooking.
Okay.
There was a difference. Now, he says, I hear you. He's been walking behind you since almost the day he passed. He's walking even stronger behind you now, helping to support you and bring you energy for everything that you're doing.
Okay.
All right. He said, listen to this young man's advice. And he's pointing to Stephen about what he's talking about, this mindfulness. Not that your father would have ever tried it. That would have been for sissies, right? Your dad when he was here on earth.
Right.
But yeah. But on the other side, he's been listening tonight since you're here and he's behind you. And he said, listen to this young man. And he's got some words of wisdom. And he said, anything you can try to get your mind or to calm your mind with everything going on is beneficial. And he thinks that's a good idea.
Okay.
Not to mention, if you can quiet the mind, kiddo, one of the things Steve and I didn't have a chance to mention is that meditation is one of the ways mediums, they use and incorporate to quiet their mind, raise the vibration, and enable themselves to receive spirit communication. Okay? So, side effect of incorporating a meditation practice is to be able to receive mom and dad's messages
Right.
of hope and comfort and support. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome, Terry. It's nice seeing you.
Okay. I could do one more because I just saw one of my students sign on, Liz. Liz, I'm in message mode and I'm getting a push. I'm getting a push. And I'm feeling that it's from your daughter, Helene, who I went to school with. And so of course it's me. She's kind of almost like, yelling in my ear a little bit. She was a very strong woman. And she's laughing. She's laughing. She said she's been watching you, Helene, and you are worrying and you're not thinking and it's not your age. You keep saying it's your age. You're blaming it on your age. But she's like almost like you're putting I don't know, just as an example, that instead of putting the butter in the refrigerator, you put a knife in the refrigerator and you go to put the butter in the cabinet. She said it's not your age. It's just that your thoughts, like Steve was explaining, are out to here. You're always thinking about something, and you're not being mindful. So your daughter comes in and she says as well, the mindfulness might help her ground a little bit more in the morning and throughout the day, and know that I am leaving little messages and signs for you and the family. And she refers to her children. I think she had two. I don't remember. My apologies. But she's leaving signs for her family as well as you. So I'm going to leave that with you, darling, and send you lots of love. And I'm glad to see you signed on tonight. It's been a while. It's been since pre-COVID. So, but anything else? Anybody have any questions for our lovely guest tonight? Okay. Steve, I know that are you doing in-person meditations at the libraries yet?
No, hopefully soon, maybe in the fall, come back.
Okay,
Um,
now you do have your own office. It's in Smithtown, right?
yes, ma'am. I work
And
at the Holistic Center for Soulful Living in Smithtown. Mhm.
oh, you're welcome, Liz. What you do meditations there, right?
Every Sunday morning, 10 a.m.
Now, are they only in person or do you have some on
There,
Zoom?
it's a in person or Zoom. Hmm.
Okay. So, guys, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. I think I'm going to have you back in a couple months. We wanted to also talk about uh, past life regression
Hmm.
and soul purpose. And Steve was very kind to me a year. Well, he's always kind to me, but um, I had to go through some surgery and he did a past life regression for me prior to then. And it was quite moving and one of the most enjoyable experiences, very enlightening, as far as relationships, etc., in my life now. And now you've taken it a step further. You're doing your regressions and your hypnotism to connect with your clients with their higher selves and their life
Yes. Mhm.
purposes, almost
Right.
like the life between lives type of
Yes.
work
Hmm.
by was it
Yes.
Gary Moody?
Quantum healing. Yes. Hmm.
Quantum healing. But wasn't there also life between lives? There was a where
Well,
they
that's part of the
actually
process. Yeah. What I found, Winter, is in these experiences, not everybody is going into a past life. Things are changing. Things are moving very quickly now, energetically for all of us. And instead of somebody coming in and wanting to know, oh, was I in Egypt or was I Marie Antoinette in a previous life? Sometimes you receive what your soul needs. So when we communicate with the higher self, and I've literally changed my practice from past life regression to soul recognition therapy. So I assist people in recognizing who they are and what their soul's journey is, what it has been, and what it is continuing to be. So we communicate with the higher self and the guides.
awesome.
Hmm. And
Um,
it's very helpful.
and this is something you would do with people in a one-on-one, whether it's in person or online.
Correct.
Awesome.
Online, a Zoom session, or most, yeah, we, they can come to Smithtown, or I can come to their home, or we do it on Zoom.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
So, guys, listen, if you're interested, if you're local and you like in person, he's here. If you're out of town, like my friend Dave in Scotland, or just not doing in person stuff yet, he also offers it by Zoom.
Mhm.
Uh, there's the group meditations,
Mhm.
there's the mindfulness training,
Mhm.
and now which we'll talk more about in the future, the soul recognition, or you're still doing past life regressions,
Yeah,
correct?
it's they're jumbled together.
Yeah, so because some people are very interested in that.
Mhm.
I've experienced Steve leading me into a past life and also to talk with my guides, and it was, as I said, very moving, and I would highly recommend him.
Mhm.
So how can they call you?
Well,
or
my
reach
number, if you
out to
want
you?
to, the best thing to do is to go to my website and all the information is there. It's called justbewithin.com. Justbewithin.com. So all my
Okay, and for
contact
those of
information.
you on tonight, it's if you're on my Facebook page, it's right
Mhm,
in the flyer
mhm,
below this restream.
mhm.
All right, so go ahead and reach out. You will
Mhm.
not be disappointed.
All right.
And I just want to let you guys know next week, on Tuesday, the 24th of May, I'm doing my Maori and Winter Spirit Chat with Maori and Winterbrook show. And we're going to talk about signs and do a lot of messages, signs from your loved ones, and what can be considered messages, and also do one on ones. I have been booked for, let's see, August 30th. I know it's the end of the summer, but I'll be back at the Amityville Library talking about mediumship. What is it? And before that, I will be up in Lilydale, New York on August 12th, my mom's birthday, and August 13th. And we're off on the 12th. It's a Friday. I'll be teaching a half day on incorporating aspects of trance into your evidential mediumship to get a deeper connection. And then all day Saturday is trance mediumship. Everything from connecting with your higher self, as Steve likes to do in his sessions, to trance speaking loved ones, to channeling the ascended masters. It's just everybody loves trance mediumship. I love trance mediumship. So we'll be all floaty. It's all day. And I can't wait for that. And it's Lilydale. They are also offering both of these classes via Zoom. So if you cannot make it up in person to Lilydale, but I do say please put that on your bucket list because it's fabulous there, you can take them via Zoom. What else am I doing? Next month, I am hoping to have my friend Maggie Simpson on to talk about the Bowden healing, which is something new to me. And I think that's about it. So I just want to thank Steve for taking the time out and for coming on tonight to talk about benefits of mediumship and mindfulness. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. If you weren't able to watch the whole thing or you want to share it with somebody who wasn't here tonight, it is recorded. Check my YouTube channel or check Steve or my Facebook pages where it's recorded. And God bless you all. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Winter. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.